Kodak Retina IIc. This one looks tidy enough. Leatherette's in good condition, paint's all present. Bit of mild, very mild corrosion on the alloy body edges. What's this one's problems? Well, nothing too dramatic, I hope. The film advance. The lever is exceptionally reluctant to return to the park position. Now, there's a number of possibilities for something like that. Probably the most common one would be that the camera has simply been dropped and that the film advance lever is distorted and as a result is rubbing on the case. So the first thing I do is look closely to see if there's a gap through here, to see if there's any danger that that lever is actually rubbing on the bodywork. And there looks to be clearance all the way around there. Interestingly enough, I can see quite clearly here a scuff mark on the corner, which tells me the camera has been dropped, but it doesn't appear that the film advance lever's taken a hit. So that's not what's causing our problem in this case. So we'll open up the top, see if there are any clues in there. Take the top cover off. I'll lift off the film release button and its return spring. Oh, well, I can see something immediately here. I'll zoom you in. I don't know whether you can see, but there's something jammed in the gear at this point. Something stuck in the teeth. It's probably a tiny piece of metal of some sort. Yeah, I've just flicked it out with my tweezers. I'll see if I can remove that. Got it. That tiny little fleck there was wedged down in the root of the teeth on that gear. Come on, camera, wake up. It's thinking about focusing. Okay. Let's see if there's any improvement. Not really. It's still sticking out. It's not quite so reluctant to return to the park position, but it's not exactly enthusiastic. Well, we know that was trapped between the cocking rack and the gear, so perhaps the cocking rack is damaged there. I'll remove the cocking rack and see if the action is smooth. The cocking rack, certainly one of the teeth there seems to be a bit misshapen. Right, out with that rack. Oh yes, that's not good. Okay, new rack for this one most likely. Let's try this, see how the Film Advance runs now. Well, there you go. No problem. So our problem was certainly between the gear on the top here and the cocking rack. And there was a little fragment of metal wedged into the root of one of the teeth here, and that was certainly part of the problem. And these teeth on this rack, one of them is quite distorted. The one on the end's not good either. It's interestingly enough, the camera did appear to cock. I don't think it would work reliably for any length of time. So this camera certainly will need a new shutter cocking rack. And I'll have to inspect this gear closely on the top. It's not uncommon for this gear to be completely reusable, even if the rack is relatively badly damaged. Sometimes you might even be missing one tooth or have one damaged tooth. You can move this gear around on the shaft and you'll find it doesn't actually, of course it doesn't cover the whole gear is not involved in engaging with the rack, only probably a little bit more than half a turn. So you can quite often reuse the damaged gear simply by making sure that the damaged tooth starts over here where it will never come in contact with the rack. Okay, so that certainly solves the mystery of why the shutter Film Advance was so tight with this particular camera. It's that rack, and it's damaged, and the cause of the damage is quite possibly that tiny little fleck of metal. I'll inspect that closely, see if I can figure out where such a thing might have come from. It appears to be round. It's like it's round in it's like a tiny cylinder, like the clipped off end of a spring or something of that nature. It's completely foreign in here as far as I can tell, but it certainly does appear to be round. That's interesting. So that's a tiny fleck that you can't even see there at all. You can just about see it at that point. The tiny fleck of metal, certainly less than 1 millimetre long, probably less than half a millimetre, 1/3 of a millimetre, 1/4 of a millimetre in diameter. That had caused us all our grief. It just goes to show it doesn't take much to jam up a good machine. Or later perhaps. Well, as you can see, I have the Retina IIc all back together. It's been completely stripped down. The shutter cocking rack was the only casualty in terms of parts needing replacement. The camera was otherwise in quite good condition. It's an early example, so there are a few quirks with early examples. I'm not going to go through them all today. But nevertheless, it's all good, ready to go back to its owner now, and I'm sure they'll be very pleased to see it. Thanks for watching.